Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with the fine folks from Deceptive Bytes. We've got Hen LeMay, who is the co-founder, and Terry Benchetreat, who is the director of sales. Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, hi, it's great to be here.
Hi,
Good to
Scott.
have you
Great
guys
to
back.
be.
Thanks.
So,
Thank
how's
you.
everybody's day so far today?
Terrific. It's a beautiful day. Can't complain. Really excited about talking about Deceptive Bytes and why we're here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, what time? Correct. I know we're not on the same time zone because if I'm not mistaken, you guys are both outside of Tel Aviv, Israel, and
Correct,
of
yes.
course I am in Columbia, South Carolina. So, what is it about 6 p.m. there?
Yeah.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, we got 11 o'clock in the morning. How's the weather where you guys are?
It's beautiful. Clear sky, actually a little bit warm, a little bit in the mid 80s to low 90s. So we're
Okay.
starting to feel a little bit of the summer,
Yeah.
starting to creep up on us. But it's nice. It still is pleasant.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we just opened up our swimming pool. The temperature is 81 degrees. It is a bright, sunny day here in South Carolina. So I'm excited to learn all about Deceptive Bites today. So, well,
Great.
let's get started with a question. This is the second time you guys have been on the live stream with me, but one of the questions I forgot to ask you last time, and we'll start with that. How did the name Deceptive Bytes come about? If you want to talk about maybe how the company started and then get into like the name Deceptive Bytes. I don't think I asked you guys last time about the name Deceptive Bytes, but I like it.
So, first of all, the story begins more than 10 years ago. The company was founded by myself and my two brothers.
Okay.
Each has his own unique set of skills bringing into the company. And we wanted to build something, but back then we didn't have any idea what. We decided to kind of continue with our careers. And once we had the idea in mind, we decided to build the, Deceptive Bytes, and the name kind of suggests what we do. Uh, Basically, when we thought about deceiving the malware and preventing it in the first place, then the name Deceptive came to mind. And Bytes, of course, is a part of the computer lingo. So Deceptive Bytes was born. And we are happy to be here, Scott. Thank you for having us.
Well, I love the name. So it's almost like security through obscurity, if you will, right?
Yep, in a
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So Hen, tell us about your background in IT, how you got started with all this.
Okay, so it's started around 20 years ago.
Okay.
I was a developer in the Israeli Defense Forces, and then afterwards, some industry experience, part of it in Elbit Systems. So I have plenty of experience in the software development, defense industry, and so on. So this is my background, and that's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Terry, what about you? What's your background in IT and how did you come to be involved with Deceptive Bytes?
Well, it's interesting you asked this, Scott, because my background is really more, I've been in the security space for about 20 years now, but
Okay.
mainly out of North America. I've helped build channel for companies such as Bitdefender, ESET, Avast, Vera, just to name a few. And one of the things that I've noticed over time is that everything in the security space was really based upon trying to catch bad guys before they actually can cause havoc or malware. And in 2019, I came out to Israel, and I've looked at a few different places for what the latest and greatest is in technology, or maybe a different approach. And nobody had really done anything like what Deceptive Bytes has done. That's one of the reasons why I joined the company, because their whole strategy is, you know, you're probably already aware of this, Scott. I mean, there's about 500,000 new pieces of malware every day that come out. Not my numbers. You can Google it. You can look at a lot of different statistics. But the reality is that even among the best of the best in antivirus or endpoint protection, they still are able to catch 99% of what is out there, which if you think about it, gee, that sounds pretty good. But if you think about the sheer volume that comes out on a daily basis, you're still looking at about 5,000 pieces of malware that nobody catches. And
Wow.
yeah, and this is where Deceptive Bytes comes into play. And this is really why one of the main reasons why I joined the company is because their whole strategy is, hey, look, stuff is going to get through. And there's no way you can catch everything. But if stuff gets through, we're going to put together an environment that basically they have no idea once they get in. It's really all by deception. It's prevention by deception. So you've got, if you think about it, you've got the whole endpoint protection on one end, and then you have the deception on the back end if something actually gets through, which is really a phenomenal strategy because that really increases the odds of protection, or really to really be able to have a better way of protecting yourself.
Well, there may be another provider doing the same thing, but I don't know of them. I would venture to say that Deceptive Bytes is one of a kind in the security space with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the last I've heard, there are a few providers today that actually do things at the network level. But
Okay.
if you think about the world that we live in today, everybody is mobile, everybody's moving around, and you really need to have that extra layer of security really on the endpoint, not necessarily just the network. And
Sure.
that's really the key differentiator here.
Awesome. Well, that only makes sense. So,
Yeah.
well, congrats for getting involved and doing this. I definitely think that it's a wonderful thing. I think that it's something the industry needs, has needed for a long time, and I'm very interested to learn more about it.
Sure. Thanks. Um, and did you want to go ahead and start showing some of the functionality,
Of
or
course.
you want?
Let's start off. I'll share my screen.
Sure,
Just a moment. Let me know when you see it.
you're good.
Great. So I'll start off first of all with a quick demo. I'll explain what's going on. We show here Defender for Endpoint, which is the EDR version of Microsoft. And we show something we got back in 2019 as the Early Bird Special. It's a way for threat actors, a potential way for threat actors to circumvent EDRs or AVs, not specifically just Defender for Endpoint. As we can see, I'll pause it for a moment. That Explorer, it got the real Explorer ID and all the relevant information about that process. And if it was with a malicious payload, it could have gone undetected since, as you can see in Defender platform, there's no alert given of that specific attack vector. And what we do next is we copy the same files to a Deceptive Bytes protected environment, and we're going to execute it as well. You can
So
see the
because
agent
it
in the
had the
background.
same process ID, it went undetected by the OS or Windows
The,
Defender.
the, the early bird special is designed to inject code to legitimate processes in order to bypass the security in the environment. And
Okay.
if I'll pause the same execution of the same file in a Deceptive Bytes protected environment, you can see the real process ID is 4352, but the early bird special got 5572, meaning we rendered the attack completely useless in less than a second. And if it was with a malicious payload, would have prevented it in the first place. No CPU usage, barely memory, and we gave an indication that something has occurred. We gave you a notification, and now we show it on our platform, what we discovered. And when you see it, you'll understand what's going on in terms of the attack itself, all the basic information, the indicators of compromise, and other information relevant to the event as well. So without further ado, let's go to the platform itself. Of course, the main dashboard is providing you the visibility of the environment. You see what's going on from the number of devices you have and the number that are protected and up to date, the number of groups that you manage, number of preventions. You see the device's status and overall health. and statistics about any preventions that were made in the system. And of course, at the bottom left, you see the recent preventions. Of course, you can change views here and everything is clickable. So if you click on something, it will redirect you to the relevant page with further information. So if I click on the devices, for instance, it will take me to the devices page. There I see the status of my devices, what is the status, agent version. Yeah, I can see even the recent preventions. In a new environment, it would be empty. I can import from Active Directory or from a file. Once I have this listed, all the devices, I can select them and install the agent and perform other tasks as well. I can see relevant information and even security assessment of my endpoint of the device. Each device is connected to a specific group, and each group represents a different policy. So if I go to the policy page, I can see for my this particular group for Windows, how to auto-approve signed files, what is the operation mode of the environment, what kind of remediation to perform, and other capabilities as well. If I go to the app control, this allows me to allow or block applications in specific to my criteria, the file certificate, file path, hashes, and so on. And of course, there are other capabilities in terms of the engines we provide, but I want to focus on other things in terms of the platform. Everything, of course, we can configure through the server configuration, from the proxy to the email configuration. With the email configuration, I can configure notification to receive. And in terms of deployment, I can use the server either to deploy the agent or use third-party tools. For our MSSP partners, it could be their RMM or any other third-party tool like SCCM, Intune. They can download the agent from here and deploy it with the command from here. In terms of integrations, we provide many integrations for our customers in order to enrich the environment. So from threat intelligence services, cloud storage to backup information from the platform, to sandbox environments, your SIEM, your log server, and you can forward events via email, chat apps, your collaborative tools like Slack, Teams, and so on. You can even open a ticket if you prefer, Jira, ServiceNow, whatever you use. And if you have something not listed here, you can use the HTTP forwarding through the platform. And of course, the server itself is also needs to be secure as part of the security solution. So we provide either using Active Directory as part of the single sign-on or locally managed users. Each user represent, of course, specific permissions, either the owner or read-only or an operator. You can even limit a specific user to a specific tenant in a multi-tenancy environment for our MSSP partners as well. You can also allow using two-factor authentication, CAPTCHA, access control, and we have other security measures as part of the platform in the background. And of course, the most important aspect of the solution is the preventions list. So here, of course, we can see which events occurred in my environment. So when it happened, where, the severity of the event, which engine prevented the attack, what is the payload of the attack, and the hash of the file. If I click on the payload, it will redirect me to see more information about that specific attack. And if I click on the hash of the file, it will show me all the places that I encounter the same file in my environment. What I really like to show is VMD as part of the demos that we do. VMD is an open source tool that demonstrates how threat actors bypass security environments such as sandbox environment and virtual machines. So let me open the 64-bit version and the 32-bit version. So when you see the 32-bit version, you see all the relevant information, the severity, the engine that prevented the attack, which action was performed, the classification of the file, hashes, and so on. We give you a recommendation on what to do with it. And we give you the indicators of compromise. In this case, it was looking for a sandboxy environment. And then you can see the execution graph where it initiated from the command line to the Python script to the file itself. And if I fetch information from VirusTotal, I can see who detected it as well. And you can see here 25 out of 72 vendors detected as malicious. And the interesting part is that even some of the big names here don't detect it as malicious. You can see here Bitdefender, Cybereason, and CrowdStrike, Microsoft even, and others. And if I go to the 64-bit version, and just keep in mind, it's the same code, but built for different architectures. Same engine, same action was performed, same classification, different hashes since it's eventually compiled to a different file. In this case, we don't have any specific recommendation. It was already blocked. Same indicator of compromise, looking for sandboxing. It was initiated from the same command line and Python script. The interesting part is if I fetch information from VirusTotal to see who detected as well, in this case, 4 out of 60 vendors detected as malicious. And it shows the difference between Deceptive Bytes and others, since we don't care about the signature of the file, the architecture, or any other indicator that might be used by other solutions. We care about the way that they try to evade the environment, this right here. And this gives us the capability to prevent the attack in the first place. Keep in mind, these are all tests done on VirusTotal by third-party tools, and we just fetch the information to the platform.
Very nice.
Okay,
Scott, yeah. Scott, I just to add a couple of things to what Hen is saying.
Sure.
And I just want to just clarify to you and also for the audience. What you're looking at right now, this solution, Deceptive Bytes, is not a replacement for endpoint protection or EDR. What it is, it's an additional security layer that is fully compatible with other security solutions. So basically what you're doing is you're stacking deceptive technology along with endpoint technology or EDR, whatever you have. The idea here is really to provide, again, that additional security layer. What you're seeing here, what Hen mentioned, is in regards to the threat intel. This information is provided by VirusTotal. This is not us. The data that you see here is not coming from us. This is coming from a third party. And it shows what tools were able to catch that particular piece of malware and which ones did not. That doesn't mean that the ones that did not, that doesn't mean that they're bad and the other ones are good. What it shows is basically there's going to be certain things that one will catch and the other one will not. They're all great technologies, but you need that additional deceptive technology to really catch it all, if that makes sense. And
Sure.
that's really where we come in.
Well, no, I'm glad I was going to say, I'm glad you said that because, in my mind, I was kind of wondering deploy the agent. Is it an antivirus agent itself, Deceptive Bytes? And I've always been taught that multiple antiviruses are a bad thing because they will think the other is a virus and they will fight one another. So that's not the case with Deceptive Bytes. It's not an antivirus.
Correct. Yeah, that's not the case here. Also, I know, we went through pretty quickly a number of different things, looked like a number of screens, and it could look like this is something that is complicated. The reality is this is something that only takes a few minutes to install. It's very easy to install. All this information that you see in front of you is really only if you want to have access to all the data to look under the covers and to actually see, peek under the hood and actually see what's going on. This technology doesn't require any, downtime for updates or anything like that. Again, fully compatible, very easy to install, doesn't require any significant maintenance. Once it's installed, you don't even know it's there. So it's a very small footprint, very high performance. And again, just takes very, very very small amount of memory. It's just, if you think about it, in my mind, it's a great business case because a lot of times we have customers, this is something you can go back to an existing customer and say, hey, here's an additional security layer as opposed to, trying to create a customer from scratch. This is something you can go back to your clients and say, hey, we have this additional security layer if you feel it's important to you. And it's fully compatible to whatever people already have in place. That
No,
makes sense.
that's beautiful. Because the best security is multiple layers, is what I have
Right.
always been told.
Of course, this
Correct.
is what we also suggest our customers to have multiple layers. There's no one bulletproof solution out there, not even Deceptive Bytes, although we try to be as effective as possible. And this is part of it, being as part of a set of tools that help you mitigate the attack instead of reacting and remediating, recovering, which takes a lot of time and sometimes takes out businesses. So we are all in this together. So just to give you an idea again, of course, once we've seen the prevention that was made, of course, always we can block the attack and make sure that that's as a precautionary to block it completely in the next time it will appear right here. Of course, you can generate reports from all the preventions that we made, but I think the most important part for our demonstration today is that the multi-tenancy environment for our MSP partners, our multinationals that use it, the multi-site deployment, is that you can see relevant customers in one single pane of glass. So you can manage everyone from a single place, from viewing the information regarding that environment, to seeing your quota, the recent preventions and policy. You can even push policy from the multi-tenancy, so you can save time going one by one, and you can view the information very easily. You see recent preventions and statistics from all of your customers combined here, and even additional information in the preventions page in the multi-tenancy environment. If you click on the devices, you see relevant statistics and information about the devices. And of course, in the search, you don't always remember where everything is. You can find it. So if I will look for VMD in the multi-tenancy environment, I can look for it and see which tenant had the same executable. And I can see the bank tenant, where it happened, and all the relevant information that I need. In terms of the app control, how many times did you set up a policy for different customers, having the same files approved or blocked? Here you can do it from a single place to all of your customers combined. For 1-2 customers, it's not that bad, but if you manage now dozens of customers, this helps you save a lot of time and burden of operating such a solution, and it gives you a really easy way to do it. And of course, the firewall is another additional protection that we provide, and you can also do it as part of the multi-tenancy and set up firewall rules to block IPs, ports, and so on as part of the solution.
So I've got a quick question here for you.
Sure.
So if it works in conjunction with the antivirus and there is a physical deception Bytes agent that gets installed on an endpoint, what is actually doing the blocking? Is Deceptive Bytes feeding the information to the antivirus, or is Deceptive Bytes doing the blocking and stopping of the attack?
So great question. So if you have an AV, that's fine. It can block if it has the signature of that specific virus that it was looking for. But if not, then we kick into play if you executed the file, and we block it ourselves. So we don't depend on any other antivirus. The purpose here is to be, you know, different and independent from others. So we don't have any AV engine of our own. We do for the part of the solution that we can provide is integration to Windows Defender as an AV. But you know, this is for MSPs that want to either replace their AV or they're already using Microsoft as part of their stack, but they want to manage it in an easier fashion. And this is where we come into play.
Well, I can tell you guys have spent a long time on the GUI because it is absolutely beautiful. I love all
Thank
the
you very much.
colors and graphs. I'm just a graph person. I'm a visual person. I hate just
Yeah.
looking at lines of text. So
Yeah.
it's very,
Yeah.
very, very well put together.
We'll tell that to the UI team. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for everyone watching. If you'd like to hear more, and there are plenty of more capabilities that we haven't shown here in this demo, we'd be happy to talk. So here's the contact information. You can reach out and be happy to set up a call and go into more detail. If you have any questions, you can do it also as part of the group. Will be available and the team is ready to answer your questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your time today. And if anybody
Thanks, Jeff.
watching this is interested in getting, you know, a demo or anything like that, getting a trial, please let the crew know at Deception Bytes that you got their information from IT Business Owners Group.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Scott. Thanks,
Enjoy
everybody.
the rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
you
Thank you,
too.
Scott.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.